Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, GordoGambles, and welcome back to another full card breakdown, this time for UFC Vegas 61. We got ourselves a nice little metaverse weekend. So I thought I'd bring on the guy who broke the news first off anyways, but no. It's going to be a really interesting card. Again, this is the one card sandwich in between 2 weeks off. So I say we don't waste any more time. Let's talk about these fights because we got to treasure this card this weekend. It's a tough one to treasure, if I'm being completely honest. So with a card like this that lacks entertainment value, you bring on the entertainment yourself. You bring on the Yambag special, the king of the MMA engine, Lou.
Did your internet break the second you introduced me? That's amazing.
Oh, did it? No.
A little bit. That's all right. I am here, the paragon of virtue himself, Lou Betcha. Thank you for having me, Gordo. There's some interesting spots in this card. It's really weird for me. I like the undercard just a million times more from a betting perspective than the main card. Because you got a minus 1100 on the main card. What do you do there? But let's go, my friend. I'm happy to be here.
You know what? If you guys did not hear, if my internet did in fact cut out and you missed what I said the king of the MMA engine, the Yambag king himself as well. He's the king of everything. You even broke the news. What are your thoughts on this metaverse event? If that's what everyone's speculating.
So Tuesday, everybody heard the whole media thing. And I said if you know how to deep dive on the internet, that Zuckerberg had, in fact, bought it out. I don't know why Dana White's denying this. It's weird. And there's nothing wrong with it. So my speculation has always been, they've been talking, Dana White's tight with the Nelk boys. They're tight with this whole metaverse concept, that they are going to have a ton of cameras in there to film VR stuff as a pilot kind of perspective to see how this would work as a 360 VR thing. I realize that 90% of the people that will watch this video are hoping the VR works in a way where Dern is on top of them. I am in the 5% where I hope it's Agapova. That being said, if it is a VR thing they're doing this weekend, I mean, we'll know as soon as it starts because the cameras, all the machinery will be visible. There'll be a day where you and I on air, or me and somebody, I don't know, I have my own channel. I guess I could do it there. We'll talk about why I think this is such a terrible idea. But maybe I'm just an old chunk of coal in his 40s that doesn't get this modern day technology. Because, when I was a kid, we only had one activity for fun: staring at the sun.
Oh, you chirping at my generation?
We walked uphill both ways.
Come on, Uncle Lou. I'm sure you'll like it. You just got to give it a try.
VR is only good for one thing, and I won't say it on your channel. I will say it on my channel. I will not say it on your channel, though.
All right, moving on.
I'd rather give Brady a heart attack than you.
Well, appreciate everybody tuning in. I know Mushroom's here. You can actually comment this time. I got some prizes at the end for him. Philip saying, "What's up?" And B-Man, no NASCAR. Anybody heard? There's some props, and props is right. The prop man himself. Some props that you maybe consider and maybe bet.
Yeah, you said you didn't watch the show, so you have no idea what I'm on. That's awesome.
I want a completely blank slate. I will watch it after. I always watch your content, but I wanted to come into this show fresh. I want you to surprise me, and we're going to do just that by getting started right here. As always, here are the odds. Thank the best fight odds, and we got ourselves a nice little fight to get things started. You know what? I did Chronic Combat last night, and they did top to bottoms. They started off with the main event, which was weird for me. Because if you guys know me, if you guys follow the channel for a while, I mean, not only do I always do the videos from leaving the pinnacle, the main event to the end, but in a lock of the night terms format, I tend to target the main event violence more than anything else. And the first fight of the night violence more than anything else. And this first fight of the night plays right into that. You have the 6-3 Randy Costa, the 9-6 Guido Canetti. It's a pretty binary fight, my friend. And it is one where usually I'd let my beautiful guest go first. But I got to take this one away real quick. This is the one where I'm putting on the glasses right away. The glasses have not failed me yet. These lock of the night glasses are going to stay back on because we're taking violence. Easiest spot in the entire card. Guido Canetti, 42 years old. He is going to have the durability edge, which is hilarious because a guy in Randy Costa has not won a fight if it goes over half a round. This guy comes out, shot out of a cannon, kill or to be killed. And it's either he gets that first round finish or he dies down the stretch. And despite Guido Canetti being 42, anybody can take advantage of that cardio dump. I was going to be on the under 2.5. Actually, already locked it in when it was at minus 200. I want to see what it comes out at on Bet365. I'm on the under 1.5.
You mean under 1.5? Okay.
No, I was on the under 2.5 and it was minus 200 right here on Betway. And I'm also playing the under 1.5 as well, just because, I'm a conservative bettor sometimes. I got a lead in this lock of the night thing. I can't throw it away too easily. So I took it a bit safe. But give me violence. Give me Randy Costa to go out there guns a-blazing, hopefully get a finish. I think he is the most likely finisher in the spot. But if he doesn't, it's going to be a very, very tough night of the office, with the office being that second round. So pretty binary, pretty simple, easy way out. But I'm liking some violence here. Hopefully you agree. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, the under 1.5 is a good parlay piece at minus 180, 175 that I saw it. You brought up Costa not winning a fight after half round. I want to make something clear. Randy Costa, and this is not disrespectful to him, he should not be a minus 300 favorite over anybody on the roster. 9 professional fights, coming off 2 knockouts in his last 2. Mushroom in the chat is saying Kennedy round 2. That was my big prop to consider on the show today, which is sitting at, to shop your book on this one. DraftKings has it plus 1,400. The KO itself is plus 500. If you like the Costa side here, DraftKings has a parlay, Costa and under half a round at plus 275 odds. I don't hate that if you like the Costa side. The big knock on Kennedy in his fights is going to be his cardio. It's not a concern here. You said he has cardio advantage. I mean, I agree. It's not going to matter here. I think if Kennedy can weather the storm after a few minutes, from the VR, oh yeah, that's okay. Never visit that. I would like, to me, if Kennedy can weather the storm and this gets into the second round, I'm not sure how he's not live to get a KO here. So the KO plus 500, you can't bet a money line. Kennedy winning a decision seems like, I don't know a world. If this thing hits the third round, what kind of fight are we getting, Gordo? Like, it's a meme fight at that point.
Slop fest.
It becomes ridiculous. So Kennedy KO plus 500 for me, plus 1,400. All I'm telling you is, if you do like the Costa side, don't take a minus 300. Don't even take his KO prop, which is like minus 120. I think his round 1 KO prop is minus 110, which is absurd. Take his parlay of under a half round and him to win at plus 275 if you like Costa. I just can't justify Costa being minus 300 at this point in his career over anybody on the roster.
Costa round 1 itself is minus 120, not just the KO, like the outright itself minus 120.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth it.
No, like, I don't know, man. And of course, the DFS aspect side of things, you got to know that, of course, the first round finish is going to be huge, but at what percentage does he get that? Like, sure, Kennedy's been knocked out in the first round multiple times, but it's too close to lay minus 300 on. From a betting perspective, though, I like to target those first round finishes just because I like to think that from a narrative side of things, they like to get things started with a bang, get that violence in the first part of the night. Give me that all day. So that's going to be a play for me.
Are you going to have like almost 100% of this one in your lineups?
Yeah, let's say 95. It's going to be a very high up, like I'm going to have huge ownership, but everybody else is too. So the way to get contrarian and fade it. But I think Kennedy's going to be a super high owned dog.
Do you? I mean, he has to be at the price. I think he has to be.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a wild one to get things started, but I'm actually really looking forward to it. But let's move on, though. So your official pick is Kennedy round 2, then?
Yes, and the under is the smash play, but Kennedy KO and then round 2 KO.
All right, let's move on to Julija Stoliarenko, 10-6-1. Chelsea Chandler, 4-1. Let's get this out of the way. Stoliarenko is an armbar machine. She has 9 of her wins by 9 bar. That's a 90% armbar rate. How insane is that? Like, every time she wins these fights, it's one way. She's very one-dimensional. That's pretty much the question here is, do you think that this DS prodigy Chelsea Chandler is able to avoid the armbar early on, or does she get caught in that and lose that way? Because to me, it seems pretty simple. Can she survive?
In the words of the immortal Chris Jericho, armbar! That's 38 of his 1,004 holds. Any old wrestling fans will know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to even talk about this one very long. Very limited. There's not a ton of tape on Chandler. She's only had 5 pro fights. Some amateurs, but I don't like the way she kind of recklessly dives her head in at all. And Stoliarenko, whereas I don't know what her ceiling is in the UFC, will not take it won't take much for her to just get her down, and if she gets her down, it's over. So I think the line is crazy that it's this close. I don't know if it's they just realized that JRC isn't like a big thing. Maybe they're not giving Stoliarenko much. But what I do know is the last time she fought on the Lambeau show, I had Stoliarenko round one sub at plus 900. Now it's plus 600. So even they know that this is her win condition. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. I'm going to play Stoliarenko sub, and I'm playing a round one sub at plus 600 in case this somehow escapes the first. I don't know what Chandler can do over 15 minutes to beat Stoliarenko unless she wins by decision. But Stoliarenko is pretty durable.
She is. We have seen her, I don't want to say give up, but she doesn't take damage too well sometimes, or at least in her earlier fights. But you know what, man? It's now plus 750. You can get even more value on the Stoliarenko sub one. There you go. Merry Christmas to you. For me, the original look, I was going to take Stoliarenko finish only, but then I looked at it and it's like, at what percentage clip does Chandler just wail on her? And I don't want to take that risk. I'm playing Stoliarenko sub, half a unit, Stoliarenko sub plus 300, taking it simple, taking it easy. I think that the way that Chandler fights just leaves so many opportunities for Stoliarenko to get in there. And if you're holding this Chandler ticket, you're just going to be clenched because it's going to be like 18 different transitions into armbar over and over and over again. It's just going to be so tough to sit through it. Give me violence. That's my prop. The plus 300 submission. Pretty simple. Easy way out. We don't need to spend too much time on this fight. No drafting salary. I haven't checked recently. Is there drafting salaries out for this fight yet?
Not the last time I checked. I'll check right now, but as of this morning, I had not seen it.
I did my video.
And I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. This wasn't short notice, was it?
Nope. I have it.
I mean, there's salaries for Youssef and
oh, they have it out.
What is it?
82 for Stoliarenko, 8,000 for Chandler.
For somebody with first round upside, in a win, she's getting what, 110?
It's pretty tempting, dude.
She's probably getting 110 for a win.
You could make a round one parlay with a bunch of fighters, especially ones we're going to talk about later. But 2 fighters right off the bat with round one upside.
We're especially what we're going to talk about next fight.
Is that actually the one that's up next?
No, but I think
not necessarily.
I think next fight there's a round one possibility here too.
Let's hear it then. 32-9-2 Maxim Grishin and the 15-5 Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins is known to me as the guy who was knocked out by Tanner Boser. I love the Bulldozer Boser, but that does not reflect too well. The Felipe Lins we saw in the PFL does not exist anymore, and that's unfortunate because he had some good qualities. I thought he was a decent fighter. You saw to check. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but the Felipe Lins there did not really show up in the UFC so far. His last fight out, different approach. I didn't mind it too much, but for me, the amount that Felipe Lins gets hit, I don't think is necessarily too optimal here because Maxim Grishin does hit hard. Just ask Dustin Jacoby. So give me Grisham to win this fight. However, due to all the unknowns, maybe Felipe Lins found a way to get back to the PFL self. That's the reason I'm not too confident on this play. That's why I don't have a play on it yet. But the lean is definitely Grisham.
Yeah, so Grisham KO plus 275. Grisham round 1 KO is like, I think, plus 550, plus 600. Lins is not good. I mean, Prachnio almost like rocked him, and Prachnio's awful. So I don't think Grisham has, and Gordo's gone. Grisham has a limited ceiling. He's okay. I think being at 205 is fine, but the William Knight fight's kind of hard to gauge because Knight came in overweight, but Grisham just kind of dominated him. Grisham dominated him. He dominated him on the ground too. He was the stronger guy. I think Grisham's he's one of these veterans that knows what he's doing. Look, maybe Lins won the million and maybe the passion left him. Like maybe just the thirst for the game. And like, I don't know. It's just one man's opinion. But Lins there's no skill set I've seen in him he has advantages nowhere in this fight. And he's hittable. And Grisham does hit hard enough. Like, look, William Knight is not an easy guy to like knock out. I realized that it was not Darren Wynn. What the hell's his name? Devin Clark got him out of there. But it wasn't like a one-hit knockout. It was like minutes of damage on the ground. And I just think that there's nothing about Lynn's chin or his skill set that I think is going to hold up here. Marcin Prachnio is like the first guy you face in a video game, like to get skill points for your guy. Like he's not a UFC caliber fighter. So I think Grisham is kind of being undervalued here. I think this line isn't wide enough. I think he should be probably minus 300. So Grisham is a parlay piece, and
Really?
I love the K. Yeah, and I love the KO at plus 275 here for him.
Interesting. That's the most conviction I've heard on this fight all week. You know, and all power to you. Mushroom saying he lost his thirst for the game, gained the hunger for food.
He's a soft bacon guy. I have sources. My sources tell me that Felipe Soft Lynn's bacon has lost his thirst for the game, and he's not using a live resin vape as dessert.
No, I don't know what's going on here, man. I'm not going to take part in the bacon conversation, by the way. Actually, I went out for breakfast the next morning after you guys had that debate, and I purposely took the bacon off my plate just so I wasn't a part of it.
Smart.
That's how much it means to me.
Smart.
I do think that
Canadian bacon, but you have Canadian bacon, which is going to open up a whole nother goddamn debate.
That was also it. Yeah. I get ripped on being Canadian enough. We're going to keep it here. But no, this is a fight where I think you have a guy in Felipe Lins who has untapped potential. Bold take? I don't know. I just don't think he's going to utilize it, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of it for the fight that maybe he does decide he wants to win a fight again, because I think he has the ability to do well. I also just see the opportunity of him being hit once and shelling up. I would not be surprised. So all power to you. I'm with you on Grisham. I'll definitely have some ownership because I do think he's contrarian on DraftKings, all over it. I'm with you for Grisham, just no play for me on the other side. So I'm glad that Uncle Lou's got some plays there. All right. It's not bacon. It kind of is bacon. Frank saying he should fight Jake Paul if he's a fake fighter, then. Ooh. Anderson Silva fighting Jake Paul soon. I don't want to talk about that fight on my channel. But anyways, we can
do that on my channel.
Okay.
I'll break that one down.
You know who I like to watch? You know, one of the only UFC fighters I prefer watching Jake Paul over. Does that make sense?
Who?
Krzysztof Jotko. 24-5 Krzysztof Jotko taking on the 19-5 Brendan Allen. For me, actually, there's a funny story behind Krzysztof Jotko because in UFC 4, my buddy was playing it like a couple of years ago, or maybe like last year, was playing it. And in the game, he simulated a few years forward. And according to the UFC, on the game, Krzysztof Jotko was the champion at that division. And I laughed at him. But man, this guy just keeps winning fights. But let's look at this. He only has one finish in the UFC. He only has 2 finish overall, one of them being in 2014. This guy is a decision machine. He couldn't finish, and he couldn't even finish Alan Amedovski. With that being said, he knows what he has to do. He knows how to win fights, and I cannot bet on this fight because you have a really smart fighter in Krzysztof Jotko, and you're a really dumb fighter in Brendan Allen. I love Brendan Allen, though. Like, my gut is telling me to bet Brendan Allen because I do think he has tools to win this fight. I just can't get there from a moneyline perspective. With that being said, Lou, I did take a bet on this fight. I took Brendan Allen finish only at minus 160.
Okay.
I don't think that you're going to have Jotko going out there and hammer fisting him or laying in big bombs. I think it's Allen finish or nothing.
Okay.
What about you?
I think, just to get to your bet, I think he's the only one with finish equity here. So I don't hate the play. I went a little different. So I feel that this fight goes to decision 95 out of 100 times. And also Jotko.
That's a lot of times.
I think and the thing is Jotko, he can, if he wants takedowns, he can get them here. I don't know that he wants to, but he can. And then he has to worry about maybe Allen scrambling and getting in a better position. On the feet, I feel like if I could bet like a ref warning to be more active, I would. Because I feel like Jotko can just kind of be at distance and pepper him. And really, I don't see any damage in this 15-minute fight. So With that being said, we're seeing a shift in the judging where they don't value just getting takedowns anymore. They don't value control at all. They value damage. Well, what happens when you have a 15-minute fight with no damage? You bet the split decision.
Or yeah, just ask Rose.
So I have 3 bets on this fight, all in. I bet the split decision at plus 450, and I bet each fighter to win by split decision. So if it goes to split, you're going to profit big. That the strategy, if you're going to bet a split, is you have to bet both fighters also on top of it because you get like a mega payout. Brendan Allen is plus 1,100 to win by split here, and Jocko is plus 800, which is wild. It's wild that in a fight where the line is so close that the split decision prop is $3 away from each other. So I have all 3 bet. I think this becomes some weird ass fight where there's a little bit of grappling, but nobody does anything. Like, I think this is a fight where it's definitely a situation where all 3 rounds, we are not very clear who won the round. I don't think there'll be a clear round in this fight. So if you have to take a side, you took Allen. I mean, I take whoever's
not
plus
with too
money.
much conviction.
Well, I'm saying is in a fight where I think all 3 rounds are going to have no damage and I can't tell who's going to judge them, you always go plus money. Like, you'd always want the plus money side there. But that's why I'm just taking the split screen and like, let's hope our girl Adelaide just, goes 30-27 one way and been like, yeah, okay.
Who's got more DraftKings upside?
I mean, this is a fade for me. That's a complete fade for me. I think the winner could get 70 points. And I mean, Jocko kind of has sneaky takedown upside. Like, and he doesn't get control very often. So, like, is there a world where Jocko could have, how many takedowns did he have against GM3?
I think he only had like 4. I don't think he had that many.
Well, what do you mean only? I mean, that's not bad.
It's 20 points.
I mean, for a guy who's a striker, like, that's not bad. The thing is Jocko doesn't do anything with him. So could he just keep getting takedowns and Allen being content to be like, okay, I'll go for reversals? Like, I guess Jocko has more upside, but like, ugh, God.
I think Allen has more finish and DraftKings upside.
I don't think
Jocko's.
I don't think either guy can. I don't think either guys can 10x their salary.
Fair.
So
I think Allen's going to go super, super low owned though. And what's his path to victory? Probably a finish. Probably a sneaky sub from bottom. Very likely, no, but it's his upside.
I don't know, man. Jocko's so good at like staying out of weird, bad spots that I do agree that Allen has the finish upside here, but yeah, this is a total fade for me in DK. And look, this is a slate breaker. If one of them gets like a first round finish, that's what wins you $100,000. Something like this, something weird like this. Like, you're talking about Canetti being a popular owned dog. What do you think Allen and Jocko's combined ownership is going to be?
Lower than Canetti.
20% tops? If that?
I don't know. I think when it comes from a betting perspective too, Jotko by decision is kind of stupid at plus 150. I was talking about Hail Mary.
Yeah, it's his money line.
Yeah. So like that's in my like parlay for Mushroom later is a Jotko decision. But I don't know, man. It's such a weird fight.
Okay.
No yam bags for you?
No, as soon as I said yam bags, I heard somebody die in the background. What the hell was that?
Yeah, apologize for that. You guys can hear that. Good for you.
I heard it. Well, my headphones are amazing. I spent a lot of money on them. Spent more money on them than the rest of my house. So,
all right. Well, hopefully that fight isn't as boring as we expect it to be, but a fight that I don't think can really disappoint too much. We got ourselves the only Canadian on the card, the 21-11 Jesse Ronson taking on the 11-3 Joaquim Silva. Fight taking place at 155. Jesse Ronson definitely is not the best Canadian prospect, but I don't know how many good Canadian prospects there are at the moment. So I'm cheering for him here. I was close to taking the money line. Instead, I'm all over the under. I think both these guys are just going to swing and bang. Some good violence here. What are those shades? Oh, you got some Lock the Night shades? Let's just pass it to you. What do you think is going down here, my friend?
Keep talking. I'm listening.
I'll keep talking. Well, for me, it's a spot where you got a guy in Silva who has, even though he is Neto BJJ, has not really used it, but he has that path of victim's back pocket. But instead, he likes to swing and bang. And he's been knocked out by two southpaws in a row. Not very pretty, including early to Mr. Rick Glenn last time. So give me violence. The pick is going to be Jesse Ronson, one of my favorite DraftKings targets. I might also play his KO line. It is actually another leg of that mushroom parlay. For me, I just see violence. I see one way or the other. If Jesse Ronson wants to get submitted, that's probably the easiest path to victory for Joaquim Silva. I just think that Ronson definitely has a durability advantage. And if they're going to be swanging and banging, he's going to have the advantage there too. What are your thoughts on this fight?
We can't trust Silva to grapple at all here. Silva hasn't shown he has a willingness to grapple. So my biggest bet of the card is the under 2.5 in this fight. As soon as you said it,
love it.
As soon as you said it, I had to put the shades on. But I also have bets on the Ronson KO at plus 350 and Ronson 1 KO at plus 700. I think, whereas, by the way, the best Canadian prospect is probably Mike Malott. If I had to just, off the top of my head, I think Malott's shown some crazy shit here. For me, I like Ronson. Yeah, like he didn't look great against Garcia, and he's had, he had some asparagus that caused him to not fight for a few years. But skill for skill, I think not only is he better than Silva, definitely on the feet, but Ronson's not a guy who gets knocked out. He gets grapple effed. He gets submitted. Whereas Silva, suspect, like no knock on Rick Glenn, but Rick Glenn hadn't fought in how long before that fight? He had 4 years off. He comes in and starts the dude in 45 seconds. I mean, that's a bad look, man. I don't think Rick Glenn's objectively a bad fighter, like either. Rick Glenn's all right, but that's a bad look, man. Like,
it's not pretty. I mean, Nasrat isn't either.
Well, I know, but like at least Nasrat's active and like, he's a striker. Rick Glenn hadn't fought in a presidential term and came in and knocked the dude out in less than a minute. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's lineup just broke after that. But yeah, and Propaholic posted this earlier that the fight to end in KO is plus 300 here. The only reason I can think it's that high is that because Silva's win condition is like, because I don't think it's like a fraud line. I don't think Silva's win condition is by knockout. I think Silva's win condition is submission. I think the only side the KO's on, truthfully, is Ronson, and you're getting plus 350 for Ronson to get the KO. So to me, I don't mind that. What I'm saying is, to me, I don't think it's like a bad line, like a mistake line. I just think that they believe that Silva's path to win is via the ground. But I don't know that it gets there. And the longer this fight stays on the feet, Ronson's just liable to KO him. Give me round 1 KO at plus 700 at great odds against a guy who's been KO'd, round 1 that was like 48 seconds into the second round. Like a guy that's been knocked out in the first 6 minutes last 2 fights. With a guy with some decent power and a guy with, Ronson's 36, man. He doesn't have a lot of time left in this sport. Got to make a move. So there we go.
I wish I got the under at minus 115. I kind of missed out on that one, if I'm being honest. It's really
minus 140 there, last I looked. It's still not unreasonable.
That's what I got it at. That's what I got this line right here on Betway. But you know what? It opened plus money. Open plus money. That's what kind of shocks me there. But I love it. The only reason I'm not betting Ronson like straight up or KO is because I already have so much ownership on him on DraftKings, as well as the under in this spot, which I'm heavily, reliant on Ronson here. I don't want to get too over my skis about it, but I would completely agree.
You're going to have any Silva? Love that.
Yeah, I do. I will have some Silva, just because I think that Ronson's also going to be a popular dog. I think Silva's kind of going overlooked. And I mean, what's his win condition? If he, like, I know we assume he's not going to grapple, but what if he's like this reformed man? What if he goes out there and just take down submission like that? He has the skills to do so.
I mean, even a decision win for Silva
scores better than a decision win for Ronson.
He probably gets 8-9 takedowns or just all the control time in a decision. Like, I mean, he's putting up 100+ points in a decision win.
He's sneaky, dude. He's sneaky. Contrarian for sure. I'll have
and look, and he's the favorite. So like not a horrible play for the money.
Contrarian for sure. Probaholic saying he doesn't have the cardio to push the wrestling game. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And I know a lot of people are putting stock into Ronson's last loss. There's an illegal blow there. I don't think it would have.
I'm sorry. What kind of blow is it? What kind of blow is it?
I know it was a legal one. I'm not gonna lie. I just forget if it was a headbutt or a yam bag.
It was a fucking yam bag.
Was it a yam bag? It was a yam bag? All right. I'm sorry. Of course you would remember that, right?
I have it all cataloged.
Yam bag king.
It's all written down.
Well, we are 5 fight ins and no yam bags yet. I think you might have no, I'm not gonna make a joke on this one. I'm gonna let Beefy in the chat make jokes about this next one. 7-1 Tabitha Ricci and the 14-6 Jessica Penne. You got one of the many fights of a young versus older fighter, the new age versus the old guard. It's going to be a fun fight, and there is a lot of love for Tabitha Ricci. I mean, not only is she a very good-looking girl, but she's impressed so far. She's been able to do her job, win, and she's facing an older prospect who just got her legs chopped off not too long ago. So hopefully she can still stand properly. But I'm on the Ricci side here. I jumped in early at -170. I think that she is the rightful favorite in the spot. Where did I get? I got about 36.5. So yeah, so -170. Give me just a wrestle dominant decision. Let's hope. The only fear I have for Ricci is cardio. I don't know how, because I know Penny's going to be really active off her back. I don't know how much is going to tire her out, but I think she's going to have the opportunity to rinse and repeat takedowns. I think on the feet it's going to be ugly striking, but she's still going to have the pressure to do well there. Give me Ricci to win this fight. I know I've actually seen a few people on the Penny side. Are you one of those, or are you riding with Baby Shark and I this weekend?
I'm not betting this fight. I think Ricci wins. I don't love the line for her experience level. The Penny did not look great. She didn't look good at all against Dakota, but very completely different stylistic matchup. Dakota just Dakota round 3 should have probably hit. I mean, if they would have stopped the fight with the way Penne's leg was, which is she was getting battered. I mean, they could you could have stopped that fight and it wouldn't have been a huge argument. This is going to be a different style of fight. This is going to be Ricci's not. If this thing stays on the feet for 15 minutes, I have to think Penne's live. She's completely live. I don't love her takedown defense. I think Ricci can very easily control 2 rounds here with takedowns. But much like I felt about the Costa fight, I just don't love the fact that she doesn't have an extensive professional career of being taken into deep waters and really executing this great game plan fight after fight after fight. Whereas Penne seems like she's taken, I don't want to say this sound like a jerk, the limited skill set that she has, and she's maximized it. Her fight IQ is good. She just doesn't have great takedown defense, but her fight IQ is good. And Penne is good at making some of these fights ugly. So for me, it's a total pass. If you're going to take Ricci, the decision prop I think is -115. I don't even love that. I don't love a minus bet for that, but Ricci decision probably 60, 70% of the time is the outcome here. But I just don't. These are the kind of fights that traditionally burn me and send me into tilt mode. So I'm going to lay off it and bet the next fight with a bunch of old dudes.
I don't blame you. Looking at it now, did I jump the gun a bit on Ricci? Not in that way, but should I be betting this fight? Because you know what, Propaholic nailed it on the head here. There's a lot of intangibles, and we look at that fight against Loopy, and when I watched that fight one more time, it was scary to me because you said it yourself. If Ricci and Penny stay on the feet for a while, no one's looking -200. It's going to be a close and ugly scrap, to which Penny might even have the edge. There's a lot of improvements to be made on the Ricci side. However, I do think she has the skill set, the youth, the wrestling, the top control to win this fight. And I capped around that -200 mark at -170. I was getting an edge, and I took it. I'm going to ride with Baby Shark. Hopefully, it does not come back to bite me. No pun intended.
I do think I do think she's going to. I mean, I do think she wins this fight by decision. I just, I'm not comfortable. I'm just not comfortable. My instincts tell me don't lay the number, but I'm not betting Penne either. So this is the get drunk fight.
All right. You're going to get drunk for this next one here. 60, 16, and 1. Alexei Oleinik, Ilir Latifi, 15, 8, and 0. 60, 16, and 1 for Alexei Oleinik. The boa constrictor. I'm kind of mad. It's like the third time breaking down this fight. The first time I was supposed to be watching him live in Columbus, and he pulled out or not him, but Latifi pulled out like a second before the fight started.
That was the Columbus card.
Yes, it was.
Oh man.
Do you want to know a fun fact, Lou?
It's like an hour before the fight card, right?
It was, and I was sitting there in my seat at my one of my first UFC events ever, editing DraftKings lineups.
And I do want to fight. Yes. I love when that happens to Brady, and he's like, "God damn it!" Like I have to change 100 times. I would love to hear a fun fact, Gordo.
This is going to expose a lot of things like my age about me, but Alexei Oleinik's first professional fight, I wasn't born for another 5 years.
Oh, fuck you.
That is how old Alexei Oleinik is, the oldest fighter in the roster.
He's as old as me, dude. He's like a year. He's not even a full year older than me. You son of a bitch.
That's why you're Uncle Lou, man.
God damn it.
Let's see.
Yeah, he's old, man.
He was already 7, 8, and 1 when I was born. Isn't that wild? Anyways, I broke down this fight so many times.
I hate you, so I'm never coming back.
You're my good luck charm. You got to come back, dude. We got to get rich together. No, I do appreciate you having me on. You don't look a day over 25. You're doing great.
Fuck you.
Okay, no, come on. We're just, Anyways, there's only one question in this fight, man. And I've seen a lot of love for Oleinik, and I love it. Like, I'm cheering for Oleinik. But how do you submit a man with no neck? It's the narrative. It's how it's going to happen. And you got to cheer for Oleinik in this spot. You have to. Like, come on, man. However, if gun to my head, I'm picking Latifi to win. It's unfortunate, but in a lot of the scenarios I'm picturing, it's more of a mess up from Latifi to lose this fight, and it's his fight to lose, really. So no bet for me. Some change on the some pocket change on the Oleinik round 1 sub, but no bet for me. What about yourself?
So I don't have a bet on this yet. I'm leaning Latifi because I do think that he can get top control, and it's not even that he has no neck, which he doesn't. But Latifi's a pretty defensively responsible wrestler. I mean, you look at the wins, and I love Oleinik. Like, I love him. I love watching him fight. What did he say in his last win on the mic? He's like, "Oh, I'm only going to be here 5-10 more years." Like, I mean, the dude's like self-aware. It's pretty funny. The thing is if you look at the way Oleinik wins a lot of his fights, it's because the opponent made a mistake. I mean, he beat Van Dera because Van Dera made like a massive mistake.
What a fun fight, though. That was so fun.
I was like, look, pure. I know there's a lot of purists out there, like on Twitter, that they live to be miserable. I mean, like we watch a sport where like you get a little something to everything, and like you got to have fights like this. They're like, people hated Dean Barry and Mike Jackson, and I get it. But look, man, give me that like once in a blue moon. Give me this nonsense kind of random thing. Like, I love it. If it's all the same, it's boring. So Latifi's wins are against guys that are kind of just screwing up against him. Like, they're making mistakes. And the one thing I'll say about Latifi is where I don't think Latifi's like, he's not like some impressive striker. He's good with top control. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Yes, he has no neck, which is, helpful here. But I kind of think Latifi can just lay on him a lot. One thing that I find interesting here as a prop bet, and I haven't bet this, and I don't know that I will. Latifi by decision is as high as 380. Could he just kind of, could he just kind of lay on him for 3 rounds? That's not inconceivable to me that he could do it. Like, everybody's assuming he's just going to. Well, everybody's assuming, he's going to knock out Oleinik, but what's going to happen when they're on the ground? He threw 10 strikes against Bozer? I mean, he's never shown like he's some high volume guy on the ground. And to be honest, Oleinik's not going to be throwing up any punches. Olenek's going to be throwing up submissions. So if you're Latifi and you're just winning minutes on the ground, it doesn't make sense to put yourself in any danger. Like, what if Latifi's, let's put it this way. If Latifi's won the first round and it was low volume, and he could win the first round on the feet. The second round it hits the ground. Let's say Latifi's up 2-0. Why is Latifi doing anything but taking him down the third and throwing no punches? And they stand him up and he puts him back down again.
So disappointing, though.
But it's not a real possibility for Latifi to win a decision here. Like, I don't know why Latifi KO is plus 140. He's not some KO machine. And, Olynyk, for all his experience, like, he's kind of a wily vet. Like, he might make this an ugly, weird fight. I'm just saying it's something to consider.
Fair.
And then maybe bet it. But I am on Latifi's side here I'm on Latifi's side here from a money line perspective. I think this is, I don't think you can bet him in, I don't think you can put him in a lineup. Unless I feel like he's finished dependent. Like, maybe you can't fade him completely because he could get a lot of ground control, but you can't go I'd go under. What's his ownership? What do you think his ownership is?
Who, on Latifi or Olynyk?
I think Olynyk's going to be higher owned. I think he has to be.
Oh, he will. And he's
getting
a lot of love.
Olynyk is completely finished dependent. Olynyk is not just dependent. I feel like Olynyk is first round dependent because if this thing gets out of the first round, he's dead. He's
Olynyk,
dead.
Costa, Stolyarenko, first round upside.
Sure. But, he's going to have to win by Ezekiel head squeeze. Can't win by a joke.
Glenn is actually saying old man by leg lock. He's also saying the under 1.5, which is that's what we should be doing. That's what we're going to regret not doing it because that's what's going to happen. But
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Latifi is not some finisher, man. And if you like the Latifi side, I'm telling you, man.
Latifi and over 1.5 is plus money.
Who's the dude that just beat DeLima? He scored 58 points in a win. And he grabbed the cage in the third round. Who beat Rodrigo DeLima a couple of months ago in the heavyweight division? The dude that got stabbed. He got stabbed by his heart.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I can't think of his name.
The dude who has a brick for his head. Even off. Yes, thank you, Propaholic. Yes, Blagoy.
I feel like we need Blagoy against Latifi in the first fight ever where nobody lands one strike. It's going to be 15 minutes of feints and here's how old men throw a punch. There. And then just 15 minutes of that. And then maybe somebody will throw a punch in the round and be like 10-9. He landed one strike to 0. I'm here for that. I talked about I'm a purist. I'm not a purist and whatever. Maybe that's not a fight I really want. But I feel like Latifi can, he's not going to make mistakes. And Olynyk at this point in his career is dependent on his opponent making mistakes. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I was listening to Paul Shaughnessy, my guy, and he's like, I'm not betting. I just hope nobody gets hurt. And I kind of feel the same way. I hope nobody gets hurt because I feel like Olynyk can still fight 4 or 5 more times.
Against who, though? Do we want to see him die?
Dawkins?
He could. Dawkins would not be pretty.
But Dawkins but Dawkins is kind of needs a win. And, I don't want to see him fight I don't want to see him fight Tom Aspinall, but could the pleasure man move up in weight?
Chase Sherman.
No, Sherman might beat him.
I know.
I want the pleasure man to move up and fight him.
I would not mind that, but I'm with Probaholic on this one. One last ride of free bet, no financial investment, just cheer for Olynyk in this spot. Let's hope he gets one more win. All right, with that, we are more than halfway done the breakdown. This is a spot where I tell you guys, please like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, show some love to Lou as well. I linked his Twitter and the MMA Engine in the description down below.
I'm over 1,000 followers on Twitter. I don't need nothing anymore.
Oh, wow. I'm 30 away from 2,000. I wouldn't mind.
I hit 1,001 yesterday. I'm retiring.
I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud of you. You deserve way more. All right, main card time. Mike Davis 9-2, Slaviklaus Borshev 6-2. This is the question of the week. Does Mike Davis use his wrestling to win the fight? Because I know a lot of people are trusting Mike Davis, and whereas I get it, it is so hard for me to do it, man. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I realize we're on time constraints now. I'm gonna make this relatively quick. I thought I'd be on Davis pre-tape. The more I looked at it, the more I thought about it, the more I got on the Borshev side. I realized that Borshev gets taken down by everybody. Like Dakota Bush took him down, Duncan took him down. Diakesse's a very good wrestler, and more importantly, Diakesse has no interest in like fighting other than just taking somebody down. But I gotta think that Borshev, like all he's been working on at ATT, is his get up. I mean, his get up game's actually been okay, but I gotta think that all he's been working on is his takedown defense. I don't like the infrequency with Davis fights at all. I think Borshev's a more active fighter. I think he's fighting better dudes in his camp. And I think that Borshev's striking is no joke. Like, I know Davis is traditionally pretty
He's a
durable.
coach for a reason.
I know Davis is pretty durable. Borshev is another level of striking, and I think Borshev can get him out of there with a KO. I took it at plus 350. I also want the Russian dance. Like, I need the Russian dance. And if you do not root for the Russian dance, it's very un-American to not root for the. Now you're Canadian, so I can't hold you accountable here. But if you're an American not rooting for the Russian dance, get out. We need the Russian
I'll
dance.
tell you this. Borshev fought at UFC Columbus when I was there. I went there with my girlfriend. She wanted to see one thing, and that was Slaviklaus do his dance. And he did not. So I'm mad at him. And that's why I'm max betting Mike. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. I actually have a little bit of ownership on Borshev on DraftKings because I do think that it's a huge if factor, right? If Mike Davis doesn't wrestle, well, what's the odds here? In a complete kickboxing battle, what is the odds between Mike Davis, who, although he has very good output and offensive abilities, does get hit a lot, versus the coach in Borshev? I think that the multifaceted MMA game goes to Mike Davis. He has the better tools to win this fight, but man, I can't trust him. And I can't sit there with a ticket in my hand yelling at my screen, Mike Davis, what are you doing? I can't have that. So the lean is to Mike Davis. I realize we don't even have the odds up here. But for me, I have not placed a bet on it so far, and I think I actually might pass on it. Violence, I do not mind at minus 120. However, I think it's appropriately lined. Let's just say that. Either way, I think it's going to be a really fun fight. But I think the next fight is also going to be a really good one. John Castaneda, 19-5. Daniel Santos, 9-2. Sexy Mexi versus the Willy Cat. Wiley Cat, whatever it is. Either way, hilarious nicknames, great nicknames. I think it's really, really fun. And this fight, I think, is actually really, really well put together because Santos brings this excitement, this heat, this unorthodox striking, but he did not look good his first time out there because Arce was able to completely evade him, take away that fun aspect of his game. John Castaneda on the other side, completely well-rounded fighter. I love Sexy Mexi's ability to go out there, put a pace on, ability to mix it up either way. And I like the guy. I think that's kind of where you're leaning me towards. It's where I'm actually going to pick the winner of this fight to be John Castaneda. But to me, Sexy Mexi just has the better all-around mixed martial artist game. I think he has the durability to withstand the Wiley Cat strikes from all over the place. I think it's a fun fight. I think that the pressure, the ability to mix in takedowns, and the really good actually offensive striking for Castaneda wins in this fight. I think he actually melts him down the stretch too. So give me Castaneda with a late finish. That's my prediction right there. Are you a Sexy Mexi man or a Wiley Cat this weekend?
So I don't have a bet on this fight yet, but I'm getting some vibes here that there's a line that doesn't make sense, and that is Castaneda round 3 submission. It's sitting at plus 2,900, and I don't understand why it's so big because I don't know that I love Santos' cardio, but you know why I don't understand this line the most? Castaneda has 2 round 3 submissions in his backpack. In fact, he beat Marcelo Rojo by round 3 submission, which led me to my infamous Kyler Phillips round 3 sub prop at 35-1 months ago. I feel like Castaneda, the cardio is on point. he always starts slow too. And that's why I don't want to get on the money line here. If you're going to bet Castaneda, he's kind of a great live bet spot. Take him after round 1. You might get him even money. But that's
He does
I don't
pick it
have
up, eh? He does pick it up.
but he kind of screws around. Even the Wineland fight, he didn't look good the first 2 minutes. Eddie Wineland's going to Eddie Wineland at this point in his career, unfortunately. But I don't know. I don't like these third decision props. Take a stand, man. I'll take him third round. I'll take the plus nonsense here. I love that. I love that as a poke on a prop, the round 3 sub. I think Castaneda's the side, but I'd live bet him. I wouldn't bet him pre-fight. You probably get him even money after round 1. And look, and if he has a dominant round 1 and you missed the bet, that's okay too. Because honestly, if Santos is going to beat him, probably going to be in round 1. So I don't mind missing the bet if I have to.
Okay. Live
Are you
bet
mad?
on
I feel like you're mad
Castaneda.
at me. You don't feel like that's.
I'm not mad at you.
You don't like that play?
I'm thinking it over. I think that Castaneda, like I said, he's going to melt him down the stretch, but I still think he has the ability to win the first round, even though he does slow down. I don't know. I'm trying to right now. Really, the question is, should I be betting Castaneda or not? Because this is one of those spots where you either had to help me off the ledge or push me over. And
I don't think it depends. His number, the thing is his losing condition is probably getting melted round 1, but I don't think it happens.
So the live bet entry would make sense.
Well, what do you think he's going to be after round 1? You might get him plus money. Look, in all fairness, when we look at these dudes for live bet perspectives, we're looking at guys that have a bigger sample size, guys the bookies have figured out. I don't think Vegas has figured these 2 guys out at this stage in their careers. So I think you could get Castaneda. Look, if Santos looks like a world beater after round 1, Castaneda could be plus 250. He could be plus 300. We don't know. But I think I'm with you in that I think if this thing gets out of the first round, Castaneda probably wins the last 10 minutes. So
Rogue telling me I should go for it, man. I kind of want to go for it.
He also said jump off the ledge. He also said jump off the ledge on it.
No, I don't know if I'm going to go balls deep on it. Come on.
He's
a spot where maybe 2 units.
Lenz is saying Santos is durable, and I don't disagree with that, but I don't love his cardio. And I think Castaneda's cardio is he's like an on-point cardio guy. So I think he could absolutely take over this fight by the 7-minute mark. But for me, pass pre-flop, take a look after round 1. And maybe the round, and I may poke the round 3 sub just to have a little funskies.
Over is apparently the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this. I'm with. I love that name, by the way. I see obnoxious American MILF. I also love that it's D. I love that she's using or he or she, I don't know who's behind it. I love using Sweet D as the picture there. I think it's awesome. But yeah, I could see Santos winning round 1 and Castaneda just really coming on strong in the last 2 rounds.
I like the over 1.5 or the fight starts round 3 better. But anyways, I think that's going to be a fun fight. I'm actually really looking forward to that one. Give me the sexy Mexi all day. 4 fights left. I'm not going to waste too much time on this one because we have the 12-2 Sadiq Youssef versus the 12-3 Don Shainis. And the odds on this one. That one's fun. You can't really play Sadiq Youssef at this price. For me, it's a battle of, are you betting the over, or hypothetically, are you betting the over or the under?
I'm not betting this fight at all.
No, hypothetically.
What
is your prediction?
The over, because Youssef's not proven to be he's not some world-beating finisher, and I don't know, I don't know much. I looked at the tape that I saw of Bird. I do mean Bird. Bird, shut up, Bird. I don't Don Shainis is it's funny because the next fight we're going to talk about involves Ronnie Barcelos, and I was getting kind of Victor Henry vibes with the Don Shainis stuff. But Youssef is just, it's unbettable, man. His knockout props minus 150, the over 1.5 minus 150. I just don't know what we're going to see from Shainis, to be honest. He's going to lose.
Okay.
I can't bet it. Can't bet it.
Do you know what this fight reminds me of? Onama versus Garrett Armfield.
Yeah,
How's that
Armfield.
comparison like?
Well, Armfield hung in there pretty tough the first round. He actually won the first round. You could argue he won the
I
first
bet the
round.
over 1.5. I bet the over 1.5, and I'm gonna do it again. I think I'm going to, man. I love Sadiq Youssef. I think he was gonna win this fight. But why is he like? I don't know if I can justify that minus 1100. I don't know what at what percentages to go out there and get a first round knockout.
May I say?
I don't know.
Can I just add to this? If you look
No.
at this over 1.5 at minus 150, it's so telling that a short notice fight with a clear skill set gap still thinks this fight's not ending early. And it's so strange to me. I think people are going to be baited into this Youssef KO, and I just there's nothing I feel comfortable with here on this fight.
Yes, the over 1.5 did cash in that fight.
By what? By how many seconds did you?
15 seconds ish. It cashed.
You know, I had Onama KO, so I was like, "What the f, dude? Like, come on, man, what is this?" But I got my.
I'm not
revenge.
betting this fight. I don't think
I got my revenge because I had Landwehr decision his last fight, so I got my revenge on that.
Good for you.
Landwehr decision and GM3 round 3 sub in like back-to-back fights.
All I know is that I know I'm on the edge with it betting the over 1.5, but I can't on this one. I don't feel as confident with it. What I will say is this is another one of these fights where everyone's going to be over the field on Youssef, in my opinion. I'm going to be really under-owned on him on DraftKings. I don't know if I can trust him to win this fight at a like high clip. Does he go out there, get a first round finish, score 120?
That's the only way he pays off the salary.
The only way. So
he's not.
I'm definitely be out of the field.
He's not grapple heavy. You know, like
I'm going to be under the field. I'm going to be lower owned on him, but I think he still wins his fight at a pretty high clip.
What's his?
All right,
what's
I'm
his
going to waste.
What's his percentage? Just curious.
Dude, I think it's going to be stupidly high. People are going to see 1,100. Yeah, I think it's going to be like 35.
Wild. All right. Fade. Total fade for me too.
I'm going to have some of him, but I don't think he pays his salary. I'm definitely not going to be like, I don't think I'm going to be above 10% owned.
I'm fading him completely.
Anyways.
At that salary.
Oh, I just got the tweet notification for WizBets Thursday Night Football. Interesting. All right. Next fight up, Raoni Barcelos versus Trevin Jones. This is another bet I locked in very, very earlier in the week. I'm on the Raoni side. I bet Raoni at minus 188. I put down not one, not two, not three, but 4 units on that. That's a pretty big bet for me. I'm pretty confident on this here. However, Trevin Jones' power always scares me. With that being said, I think Barcelos is the better fighter almost everywhere. Sure, you can give the power and let's say the strength advantage to Jones, but I think that the better grapple, the better output, the better technique, the better. I just think Barcelos is the better fighter. I think he wins this fight at a pretty high clip. Is this where you break my heart, or do you agree with me?
Nope. I break your heart. I'm riding with Paul Shaughnessy. Barcelos is going to be winning every minute of this fight until he loses it. Trevin Jones KO at plus 550. I haven't bet it yet. I'm never betting Barcelos. I don't trust him. He's 36 right now, 35, I believe. He might be 36. Might be 36 by the end of this sentence. I'm just verifying this, but he's 35 or 36, fighting at 135 pounds. He is 35. I never liked that. And honestly, like, I can't get the taste of the Victor Henry fight out of my mouth. I feel like Barcelos should be so much more impressive than he has been, and he hasn't. And Trevin Jones, where I think he's kind of, we know what we're getting with Trevin Jones at this point. He's got some punching power. Barcelos has been durable. I don't think he's ever been knocked out, but he's been rocked. And Trevin Jones has got some power. So this is another kind of fade spot for me. It would be dog or pass, but it's Jones KO or pass. Because if this goes to a decision, I have to assume that Barcelos kind of like pecked at him for 15 minutes, maybe threw in some takedowns. But I think Jones is live for a KO. I will not get to the Barcelos side here. And this is a total fade for me, DK-wise.
Okay. We have to agree on one of them. Disagree on one of them, right? This is the one.
But I have no conviction on the other side either. I have no conviction on the other side here. I just can't bet. I can't back him with this number.
Okay, that makes sense. What about at minus 188?
Stop it. Is that what you got him at?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Better.
Okay.
I mean, Trevin Jones isn't like a world beater. he does one thing well, and that's win by fluke knockout. So, like, if you're going to take him to win, take his knockout prop at almost 6-1 as his fluke win. But for me, this is another fight I passed on. I only have one more bet left on this card. So,
Do you?
and
We're
I
going
will
to hear in
spoil
this next fight?
Yeah, because it's not the main event.
All right. Well, next up, we have the 15-4 Randy Brown versus the 28-8 Francisco Trinaldo. Are you on team old man here, or are we with the new age?
You goddamn right I'm on team old man. I want to make it clear that I think Brown wins this fight at a very high clip. Does he win it at a 76% clip? I don't know. But I'll tell you two props that I considered and then maybe bet. By the way, if you don't know what that means, go check out the MMA Engine for props to consider and then maybe bet from yours truly, Lou Betcha. I feel that if Trinaldo is going to win this fight, this is another fight where Randy Brown by decision is probably, that's the most likely outcome of this fight. Could Trinaldo KO him? He's still got power. In all fairness, Trinaldo hasn't taken a ton of damage for somebody his age. Like, he moves pretty well. And he's Brazilian. So look, 44, is that 60? Is that, we don't know. I think Trinaldo, if you look at the way that Brown has lost, the Nico Price fight's kind of, how do you evaluate that, Gordo? You like
Nico Price
fluke.
fight.
Like, it's a fluke KO, but it's a KO because he was defensively responsible. It's so fluky, but it happened.
It's interesting. I don't like the word fluke, but it's interesting.
But it's like lightning bolt. Like, it's like it's like a banana peel kind of like and then the Luque one not at all. Luque just murdered him.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why Trinaldo can't crack him here. Like, Brown, he's going to probably stay on the outside if he's smart. But if Brown gets comfortable after the first round, like, let's just pull up my notes here, because I wrote something down that I thought was very important here. So in the Chaos Williams fight, now I had Brown winning, and I had him winning by decision. But what I noticed about Brown in that fight is that after the first round, he started like getting like Muhammad Ali-ish, started dancing around, like kind of showboating, because he thought he had it all well in hand. If he does that here against Trinaldo, he is very liable to get absolutely sent to the shadow realm. I do think Trinaldo still has that power. So I took a poke on Trinaldo KO at plus 900. And Gordo, are you ready for this one?
Uh-oh. What is it?
Trinaldo round 2 KO, which is where Brown's been knocked out twice in the second round. Plus 2,500. Trinaldo round 2 KO. Look, sometimes it's not about a fighter's winning condition. It's about a fighter's losing condition. And he's been knocked out twice. And especially the Nico Price fight, man, he got a little cocky after the first round. Could he leave himself exposed? He did it against Chaos Williams, too. His hands were down.
Could.
Look, what I'm saying is his hands were down. His hands were down against Chaos Williams, too. It only takes one shot, and Fernando certainly got the power to do it. At 25-1, give Uncle Lou that prop. That is a prop. I get out of bed for 25-1. So I'm on old
all
man
power
here.
to you.
If you like Brown, you have to take him decision. There's no equity in any. There's no. So I mean, there you go. So maybe Trinaldo finish only is a way to play this.
I do think that Brown does have some finish equity here. I think that I'm decently high on Brown, but I don't know if I can get to that price tag. Like, the only way you could play him is if you parlay him. And I don't want to parlay Randy Brown. So for me, I have not bet this fight yet.
At that line, you can't.
You can't. So I haven't bet this fight yet. If anything, I will parlay it, but I don't think I'm going to get there, especially with your conviction on the old man Trinaldo. So I'll never forgive Trinaldo for knocking out Jai Herbert in the third round. That scarred me for life.
Quick DK question. Can you get to Brown at all? You're not going to get. Can you get to Brown
cash.
at all?
In cash.
Sure. Can you get to Trinaldo in GBP?
Trinaldo and GBP for sure.
How much? 20%?
No, a bit lower.
What is he, 6,900?
Yes, he is, but I don't know if I can give him that as much credence as you do. So
Boo.
I don't know,
See,
dude.
you don't respect your elders, Gordo. That's your
I do
problem.
not. I do not, man. I don't.
Get off my
I am
lawn.
always
Get
letting you
off
know.
my lawn, you son of a...
And with that, dude, we have one fight left: the 12-2 Mackenzie Dern, the 15-3 Yan Xiaonan. And Mackenzie Dern's the reason that this facility is rented out. It's because Zuckerberg wanted to see her up close. I don't blame him. No, this is a interesting scrap. You want to rely on it as striker versus grappler, and I'm going to take the reins on this one real quick before I pass it over to the man himself. But to me, with everyone saying how it's striker versus grappler, I've seen nothing but improvements from Mackenzie Dern, and I've liked her improvements in her wrestling. There's no question about our BJJ, but you can improve the wrestling, you can improve the striking. I like Mackenzie Dern. I don't know if I can get there in a moneyline play, but to me, she wins this fight at a very, very high clip. I don't know if it's going to come by necessarily first round submission domination, but I wouldn't put it past her. I think that if it goes to the ground at all, Mackenzie Dern may only need one takedown. That being said, interesting matchup. Give me Dern all day, though. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I don't have any. This is a setup fight for Dern to win. I don't think there's, I don't like playing narrative nation kind of stuff, but Dern to win, and I think Dern by sub, because I think if this fight goes to decision, I don't know that Dern wins. I think if this fight goes 5 rounds, I'm not certain she did enough to win the fight. But I do feel like they're setting her up because everybody in the world is in love with her, except me, I guess. Like, I think she's okay. I think she's great. I mean, if Jan can keep this on the feet, it's really interesting. I have seen some people playing Jan decision only. I find that a very intriguing play at minus 130. But I don't know. I don't have a good feel on this fight. It's such a setup for Dern. But man, she's so one-dimensional that I can't put anybody that one-dimensional on a minus 250 bet, dude. I just can't get there. So I'm out of this. And honestly, for DK, I think you can fade this. I hate fading 5-round
You could.
fights, but man, Jan in a decision. I actually think Jan in a decision. I don't know what she can get. 80, even in a 5-round fight, 80, 85, which wouldn't be bad. But I think there's better. I think there's so many better low salaries here, like a Canetti, like a Ronson, that can get you that first round finish that, like, I don't know. And Dern is so sub dependent. She might get you 1-2 points a round. I mean, she's sub dependent. So she doesn't get a sub in the first 2 rounds. That salary is awful. So I may be off this. I may be off this from a betting perspective. I'm off it completely. From a DK perspective, it's maybe a little bit of Jan. I think you have to play a little bit of Dern for the early sub, but Dern's not a Sparza in terms of getting somebody to the ground and like getting control. I can't believe I just said that sentence. That made me like throw up a little bit in my mouth.
I think you're right. I think that aside from being a setup fight, I do think Dern wins this fight, but I don't know how much I'm going to get there. But with that, under an hour and 10 minutes, I got 5 minutes until I'm live on Personality Pick. That's okay.
Yeah, you haven't done enough shows this weekend.
No, I haven't, man. I haven't. I gotta get out there more often. I gotta get your spirit, your mentality, Mr. Yambe. So before we go, I want 2 things. I want you to let the people know where they can find you, and I want your Yambag pick because I gotta get something out of you.
Lou Betcha on Twitter. I'll post my soccer picks tomorrow. We're not doing a show. Typically, we're not doing a show, but I got some EPL picks I really like this weekend, and 1 college pick, and I try to be entertaining. And that's it. And follow the MMA Engine on YouTube. As far as the Yambags pick, I really don't have a great one. So I'm going to say Grisham wins because that whole fight just screams it's stupid. And
yeah,
unless I'm missing it, there's no righty versus southpaw on this whole card. If there was, I would have just auto played it for Yambags, like the stances or so. Maybe if there is, I don't know, but if not, Grisham Lens is the just somebody gets smoked in the balls. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good one here. I have no conviction. No bad conviction. Do you have one?
I say that as my laptop's dying.
Do you want to give me one? Because I don't have conviction here.
I do not.
Right.
And we're actually
it's a specialized art. It's a special art.
Yes, it is. You know what? We can't force them. We cannot force them. But I appreciate you so much for coming on the show. As always, you have been my good luck charm. You're someone I can rely on to, bring an entertaining card breakdown despite the level of the card. And I appreciate you as always. Guys, make sure to check him out on Twitter at Lou Betcha or on MMA Engine, where he's got props to consider and then maybe bet. With that, guys, we have breaking down the entire card from a betting and DFS perspective. If you want a more in-depth DFS breakdown, check out the breakdown on the channel here at Plays of Fate Sports. This is now where I ask you for a second time. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, check me out on Twitter. All of that goes a very, very long way, and I appreciate you guys there. In terms of content for me, I will be on the personality pick tonight in 3 minutes with WizBets, so I'm going to run over there. But again, check out Lou's channel for some props. Check out my DFS videos from DraftKings plays, and my DMs are always open. I gave out one DGen play yesterday to Mushroom, which is Ronson KO, the under in the Guido Canetti versus Costa fight, and Jotko by decision. That is plus 1,800. Not bad. And I just really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys want to know anything more, DM me on Twitter. I'll be sure to pass you something over there. But again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Frank, love you too, Frank. Always there supporting. Much love to you. Thank you to Glenn. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and showing some love. And with that, guys, enjoy the card tomorrow. Hopefully you guys make some money on it. And actually, that's my outro. I'm really struggling here, Lou.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks again to Lou for joining me, for sure. And let's make some money, guys. Cheers.